Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be chatting with Aamar Shawwa, whose artwork captures a time of nostalgia, calmness, and hardship. Aamar grew up in Kuwait, but when her parents both died at a young age, she moved to Victoria Island to live with her paternal aunt. There, she was rooted into the artistic world and studied visual communications with 2D design and 3D animation at Grant MacEwan University in Edmonton. Today, Aamar is co-founder and producer at Creative Animals Agency Dubai. Recently, she has completed 2 impressive new paintings of Khalthoum and Fairuz in a series which she calls the Gold Series.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So, Aamar, tell me a little bit about why you decided to pursue art.
Well, at a very young age, I was influenced by my brother because I always woke up in the middle of the night finding him painting just before the Gulf War happened in Kuwait. And the art that he produced was amazing. So from then, I started picking up sketching vases. I don't know why. Vases was my thing, and um, and that's like the earliest memory I have of being connected to art per se. And then it was a blur, and then I went into. I remember it, pursuing it more in high school.
One of my favorite pieces is your Gold series with Fairuz and Khalthoum. So, what inspired you to do those pieces?
Growing up in the Western world or in Canada, we weren't really exposed to the Arab entertainment or culture. The English music industry was more embedded in me rather than the Arabic. So recently I've been like, okay, well, I don't know much about Fairuz and I don't know much about Kalsoum, and that's how it started. And I've seen some paintings on the internet for Fairuz, for example, which were really stunning.
Yeah.
And I took inspiration from that, and I put my own touches on it, hence the gold. And recently, I've been obsessed with the color gold. And gold is perceived by me, at least, as royalty, a royal color. So I feel Fairuz is a depiction of royalty in her voice and her industry and in everything that she's done in a very classic way, an elegant way. It's like that's how she came out on the masrah or whatnot, and everybody would like cheer for her and couldn't wait to hear her voice.
And I love
And
how you added the details of the jewelry for both of them. So,
yeah,
we want to talk a little bit about what you chose and why.
growing up, I used a lot of different mediums in my paintings, whether it's like molding paste or clay or marbles. In this case, I've used stones, and with Fairuz, I used Fairuz colored stones.
Yeah.
So I thought that really worked with her because she is called Fairuz. And and with Kalthoum, I wanted to go with the pearl effect and used white, white round smooth rocks or stone. And moving forward with the pieces that I will be producing, I think that's going to be one of the important points in my paintings, and try to relate the different materials or mediums that I use with the characters that I paint.
And so, are you planning to continue to add other icons?
Yes, I will be. And it's taking longer than I expected,
That's
but
okay.
because I just feel like I need to pick the artists, whether they're women or men, that really resonate, or their stories have been really uh, special, you know. So my next one, I'm not going to say who it is. It'll be a surprise.
I know who it is.
Now, because this is what I'm surprised with. Not many, or at least me and my generation, know the stories of all these amazing artists in the Arab entertainment industry. So
And
hopefully,
you chose two icons that I feel really represent a time of nostalgia for a lot of us here in the Middle East, a time where there was a lot of political unrest.
yeah, exactly. And there are things that I found out, for example, with Khalthoum. She was always high on opium.
Yeah, she was.
And I didn't know that. And that really intrigued me, because as an Arab or Middle Eastern person, that's such a taboo thing.
Yeah.
And she was such a huge um, personality in the industry, or in the Arab world, let alone the music industry. So she's a big influence. So, and maybe that was why she was wearing her sunglasses all the time. Or
Probably.
yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I love what you've done with those two pieces. I mean, they're really, really beautiful and powerful. And even for me, because I grew up abroad, um, some of the first Arabic music that I connected with was Fairuz and Khalthoum. And although they're very heavy, some, especially Khalthoum, is it's very intense music for someone who doesn't understand Arabic that well.
Yeah. And I couldn't get into the music. Fairuz was I could connect with Fairuz, but Khalthoum it's tough. It's tough.
The Gold series is very different from what you were doing before. So maybe you can share a little bit about what you were doing before you started.
So I felt like I really resonated with my art at the end of my high school years. Um, I painted a lot of horses. And I painted on wood. I mean, I used acrylic paint, I used molding paste. Um, so I can get that. I always wanted to feel the art, like the actual pieces. So I wanted people to touch and feel what the painting is, and to connect and see what their reaction would be.
Yeah.
And then in university, I did a lot of figure drawing, and that's, I think, pushed me towards the human body, and I really enjoyed that, especially the female figure. And like it was more comfortable for me to use like the charcoal or the pencil. But then later on in my years, like later on, I started delving into painting my figure sketches.
The figure drawing piece that kind of reminds me of a famous artist. What was his name?
Egon Schiele.
Yeah.
And
what that piece is about, because it's beautiful, but it's also dark at the same time.
My art professor did say that like my work reminded her of his work. So I looked him up, and like I could totally connect with him. He was really depressed as an artist, and it really showed in his artwork with the decapitated limbs. Like he would, like, it was really like hard. Exactly, it's hard edged. It was really like even vulgar in the sexuality of the women that he drew. And each sketch he had a story with a woman, like it was either his lover or whatnot. And losing my mom at a young age, and my aunt who raised me as well with the same stupid cancer, that it's really so it's really resonated in my figure drawing. Like with the Gold series now, completely different style.
And it's a different phase in your life as well.
Yeah, it is.
So Um, who are some of your favorite artists and why?
Oh. Um, actually, I have two artists that inspired me. They're both like relatives of mine, Noel Shawwa and Layla Shawwa.
I know you have your own company with your husband. Uh,
Yeah,
it's an production
it's a,
company.
yeah. We have a company called Creative Animals,
So I'm sure
and
your creative side really helps in that line of business. Uh,
actually, not me.
not Layla, really?
No, it's actually my husband who's the creative genius behind it. I actually do the producing of everything, like behind the scenes.
Okay.
It's a creative production company. For me personally, I'd really like to start focusing again on my artwork and push, and like every other artist, I'd like to be known
Yeah.
for my work. And
It's such a beautiful gift that you have. And I don't think, you know, yes, it's a competitive field, but it doesn't matter. You got to do it for yourself. It doesn't matter. In the end, it fulfills you. You enjoy it. You love it, and then and that I think will, whenever you love something and you enjoy something, it always ends up becoming bigger and greater.
inshallah, I hope so. Like,
So,
to be honest, when I started this journey again, I try to, and I do get my brother Jamal involved. Like, I'm like, oh, I send him a picture, and like, as I'm working on it, and I'm like, what do you think? I've done this and I've done that. And what do you think if I put this color or that color? How do you feel about that? And I feel like he does get excited, and deep down inside I'm like, I hope this encourages him to pick up a paintbrush again.
fun.
I
Yeah.
really do. And Jamal, if you hear this, I want you to pick up a brush again.
We all want you to pick up a paintbrush, Jamal.
Yeah.
See what you've got. So
Yeah.
I have one silly final question for you. What is your
Yeah.
favorite food, Aamar?
Oh.
Palestine or Palestinian?
Obviously, it's Palestinian. Um,
I love it.
سخن مفتول, رمانية, oh God,
Oh,
and سمائية. Oh my God, I love سمائية.
those are good ones.
Yeah.
I like the choices
Eh,
that you.
they're very Gazan.
Yeah, they are. Well, I can't wait to see what's next for the Gold Series, and
Yeah.
we'll be looking out for that. And
Yeah, I'm super
I'll be
excited to
following,
share that.
I'll be following your progress, and I'm going to be waiting impatiently to see what kinds of things you're going to come up with. So
Thank you.
I think
I'm super excited too.
no, it's great. Continue what you're doing, and passion. When you have passion for something, you know, anything's possible.
And to be honest, ever since I've met you, and like you have like truly pushed me to keep doing what I'm doing, and thank you. I just want to say thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. Aamar, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, definitely. Bye. Take care.